20 local governments, 37 local council development areas. It is time again to elect your representatives at the grassroots, the closest arm of government to the people. People of Lagos, we can only have the desired change and development by exercising our constitutional rights through our votes. For your voice to be heard loud and clear, it must be through the ballot box. For a government that works for the benefits of all, you must come out and vote. Say no to voters' apathy. Let's change the narrative. It must start with you. Yes, it begins with you.
Before the sun rises, Lagos is already awake. The streetlights fade and the city begins to move. From the markets to the motor parks, from the classrooms to construction sites, Lagos comes alive with the rhythm of its people. This isn't just a city, it's a system, and in the heart of that system is local government administration. Local government is the closest tier of government to the people. Statutorily, it provides basic infrastructure including healthcare, roads, schools, and others that solve communal challenges.
The government that is closest to me, so there are some constitutional duties that are expected to be done that will better my life as a citizen within the local government level. So if those things are being done, we feel the impact.
With 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas, Lagos has one of the most expansive grassroots governance structures in Nigeria.
Local government are the footing of any government structure. They are the taproots. They are the closest to the people. The state government are just at the top. They don't really see the bottom. And no matter their energy, no matter how good their idea might be, they don't have the capacity to web the area at the same time and dishing out programs, projects, and all of that at the same time. Because people will not wait for you to finish from here to come to here to come to here. You understand? They are in pains. So when you strengthen your local government, you deepen governance to them.
Over the years, the impact of local government has been seen and felt through the election of credible candidates. New classrooms have been built and commissioned. Streets once flooded are provided with drainages, while public health centers have been revitalized and new ones constructed, with state-of-the-art equipment and other medical provisions. Small businesses have received support, and youths have been empowered through skills acquisition. These are the results of residents exercising their voting rights to elect the best of candidates who understand grassroots development. Lagosians, it's another time again to decide by voting wisely. Vote for the right man or woman in your area. Democracy is not just an idea, it is real and begins with your vote that will define another impactful tenure and reward for the dividends of democracy. Grassroots democracy is alive. The past has proven its power. Now it's your votes that will define what comes next. Your participation in this local government election is power. Let's make our votes count.
The wait is over. Election day is here, and the power to decide lies in your hands. Voting is more than a right. It's a powerful responsibility carried by every eligible citizen. It is the voice of the people, the foundation of leadership, and the heartbeat of good governance.
The essence of voting is to elect leaders to govern our countries. The most important thing about electing our leaders is to ensure that we elect credible leaders.
When you vote, you will have the opportunity of selecting the person you preferred to rule or to administer over you.
As Lagos residents head to the polls to elect leaders in the 20 local government and the 37 local council development areas of the state, this is a call to action, a reminder that today's decisions will shape tomorrow's outcomes and will also determine those that will manage our roads, health centers, primary schools, and daily matters that touches our lives.
This local government election determines the leadership that will directly influence community development, community education, health, and many other things as it affects the entire grassroots. So it is so important that everyone has to participate in the selection of a candidate of his or her own choice.
The party has duty to spread political posts into different areas so that this will culminate into more people showing interest, not haphazardly, not one-sided, not my choice, not my friend, not my son, not my daughter, not because it's the daughter of our leader. Yeah, there are better ways to take care of our leaders and their families.
Participation doesn't end with standing in line. It begins with making informed decisions, knowing who you are voting for, what they stand for, and how their plans affect your community. This is your chance to make your voice count, not just for today, but for years to come.
If you don't do your civic duty, why are you asking for your right? It is supposed to be give and take. When you don't vote, you are not giving legitimacy to the government.
They must think of credibility and accountability, transparency. A candidate that will be more transparent, a candidate that is competent to deliver to what they feel they need within their community. So they should not vote for candidates because they've been given money.
Everybody should vote for his candidate of his choice. You should not be teleguided by anybody to tell you that I vote for this particular candidate without you convincing from what he or she can do.
In past elections, low voter turnout has undermined progress. But today, you have the power to change the story. Don't let apathy decide your future. Refuse to be silent. Reject vote buying. Hold leaders accountable, starting from the ballot box.
If you don't go there to vote, you will be giving chance to a candidate that is not competent, a candidate that is not capable, a candidate that you will not be able to assess.
If you that were appointed, were elected, and those that are going to get appointment under the local government and administration, If you don't do well, you are only telling the party not to give you opportunity and the masses not to give your party opportunity. So it is vice versa. We need to do it right, both at the party level, at the government level.
If they say they are not interested, what are they expecting from the government? Nothing to give to them. Nothing. Unless you vote in your own right people, it is there you can achieve what you want for the country, for your local government, especially the grassroots.
Without coming out to vote, definitely anybody that comes in, that automatically you are not even performing your constitutional right. And constitutional right, without performing it, you are not faithful. And automatically anything that comes in, you go in for that. So that means you have yourself to blame.
If you stay at home and you don't come to vote, how do you know your vote will count? So it's important for every one of us. If you have your PVC, it's your civic responsibility. It's also your voice in government to say that we put you there, you must work for us.
Let democracy thrive. Let your vote speak. Stand up for your community, your values, your future. The polls are open and Lagos is waiting on you. This is your moment. Say no to indifference. Say yes to participation. Say yes to a better Lagos. Your vote is your voice. Don't lose it.
I'm expecting number one, we need a better, good earth. Earth is one of the most important something because they usually said earth is wet. And number two, what we need is that we need good security, good road, and a better environment.
Let the villages be revisited. Let some of the popular roads that link the people be amended.
We want their efforts more on health. That is number one. Then empowerment, our youth. Our youth, they need empowerment. We need to focus more on them to assist them. We have so many graduates with no work. Even in terms of apprenticeship, something like that, they need more assistance.
We are expecting the upcoming local government chairman to be transparency. Not because of, they should not go there because of money. That they want to embezzle money. No, we don't want that. We want transparency and to make sure that the cities area are benefited from their governance.
The most important thing is our road now.
The chairman should not abandon the project that is going on, that it should continue, because the continuation is the most important.
My expectations from them is we want the chairman to look into more roads.
We expect new roads. We need a health facility like this.
In this Southwest now, there's no more problem in the security aspect there, but they have to do something.
We have very, very plenty needs. But in the area of sports, we have about 60% of our population, they are youth. And if you want to reduce youth restlessness, you need to provide one, you need to provide employment. Two, you also need to provide where they can also do some games.
I want this particular administration, the incoming administration, to focus on education. At the moment, they are so, due to the economic hardship, so there are so many dropouts. Parents could not afford private schools again. Parents could not, and we should just focus on our education sector.
We are expecting a better government more than the previous one. We want a good road and a sound. They should invest on our health. So we want a better and a good environment.
The next person that is coming to follow what the man did, particularly in road with the solar electricity and so other. So we thank him. Who person is coming to continue with that job.
You're there. Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still Lagos Decide 2025, and of course we're tracking events for you today as Lagos resident
are expected to turn out in their numbers to cast their ballots at the grassroots level, that is the closest to the people. But again, judging by what happened during the last election in 2021, there was voter apathy, and also going by what happened, of course, during the 2023 general elections, there were reports of also low turnout of electorate at various polling units. Why is this seemingly becoming an issue with the electorate in Nigeria, and why is it important for residents, especially Lagos residents, to participate fully in today's local government election? Let's start that conversation now. We have two guests joining us in the studio, and together we'll be taking a look at the importance of the grassroots itself, especially to governance and development in Nigeria. Today, join us this morning as a welcome. Well, incidentally, they're both lawyers. And we have Dari Oloyede. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, we have Jide Ologun. Thank you for being here on the program this morning. Like I said, both men are lawyers. They're public affairs analysts. So Mr. Ologun is a man of many parts. Ologun is a PR expert. He's a lawyer. He has a police background. I mean, just name it. And of course, he's also very passionate about Nigeria. Let's start with you, Dari. And of course, today, like Joshua and I started by saying, well, there's a process to every election. And from the local government election, at least, whether we like it or not, there was ample time for LASIEC did announce about 3 months ago that election will hold today. But you'll still find out that a lot of people will give you the excuse that they were not aware or they did not know that elections will hold today. On your own part, what was it that LASIEC should have sustained on, or that the politicians or the society needs to do better in ensuring that there is proper awareness towards grassroots election?
Oh, thank you for the question. Well, I think the start-off point should be whether LASIEC should do more than it had done in respect of getting people to be aware of the upcoming elections. There are political parties, and one of the major functions is sensitizing the electorate. They can do that by generally moving around, talking to them, flyers and all that, or those who occupied the offices that are now being contested for by their works, the people should be happy to come out and say, oh, we want this man to continue. We don't want him to continue. Okay. So I think we will be misplacing the burden if we say, oh, what has LASIEC is to conduct elections.
Right.
And I believe they have provided all the necessary materials for that. They have interacted with the political parties that are presenting candidates. I think it should stop at that. Okay. I'm not saying, I mean, what they have to do, advertising, talking about it, I've heard so much about it. I've also seen posters and banners of candidates in my local government area. I never met them. They didn't do more than that. I mean, you look at, for instance, at the in the US, because I like going back there, because when we say we are practicing presidential system of government, we borrowed it from them. You know, over there, the mayor, the office of the mayor is actually much more important than the office of the governor, because that is really grassroots.
Right, and mayor, of course, would be liken that to chairman.
Chairman here. Yes. He is closer to the people. He interacts with them. They know him. You see people moving from the office of mayor, either going straight to the office of governor, or at times contesting for presidential election in the US. But here in Nigeria, most of the people who eventually become chairmen, they are not cracked for them by benevolent spirits. It is not their own doing. So when you say LASIEC, I mean, I think LASIEC has done more than enough, except we want LASIEC to begin to discharge the functions of political parties and candidates.
Okay, let me make a detour just a little bit. The 1999 Constitution has amended Section 7, subsection 1, unequivocally guarantees the existence of local government councils in Nigeria. Of course, that gives them the bite to vying for and contesting for elections in Nigeria. Over the years, we've seen some kind of maladministration, or better put, for want of better choice of words, we've seen a kind of neglect of the local government councils areas in Nigeria. However, in recent years, with the unearthing of or releasing of local government money, funds by the ruling of the Supreme Court, I think perhaps we've seen a new verve, especially from state government, to wanting to pay attention to local government elections. Perhaps just give us a background as to how important, especially vis-a-vis the constitution of the country, to the importance of local governments.
Thank you very much. When you talk about the local government level of governance, that is where you talk about education, health management, they manage the marketplaces, register VAT and debt, and then, of course, waste management should be part of it, which in some states, the state has taken over, perhaps for the revenue, which is a serious issue. Then talking about the funding, if you look at section 162, subsection 6 of Nigeria Constitution 1999 as amended, there used to be the joint accounts between state and local government, which empower the governors to really have a strong hold of the local government level. But during the tenure, this current tenure of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Attorney General of the Federation went to the Supreme Court and was able to get a decision that no, let there be direct allocation to the local government. But as at 3 days ago or thereabout, about 4.5 trillion meant for the local government has been recycled
back to the governors.
Through the governors. Why? Because the respect that should be given to the Supreme Court, which remains the highest court in the land since 1963 when we became a republic, has not been given. And so after that decision, there was a moratorium of about 3 months for the governors, and the decision was actually on the 11th of July, 2024. And following that, another instruction came that the local government authorities should go and open an account with CBN. CBN also brought another angle to it, that bring your 2-year audited report. So it's now a blame game between Attorney General, Ministry of Finance, Accountant General of the Federation, until we speak now, that decision of the Supreme Court has not been implemented.
What is this chokehold all about, especially when it comes to local government? I don't understand how vital it is to the political hierarchy. However, what is the big deal in letting them be, considering that they reach out to the grassroots, as it were?
You know, like Barrister Oluyede brilliantly mentioned, you don't joke with the grassroots. When he used the case of the mayor, because when you talk about the aggregate votes, even at the national level, they reside at the grassroots level, you know. And so if you lose your hold of that level, you are in political crisis. And that is what informed the battle between Nyesom Wike and Fubara in Rivers State, that, hey, I cannot lose my political influence here. You see, exactly, and we have all witnessed the pains the state has gone through, despite being the second richest state in Nigeria. So, as a politician, you don't joke with that level. We are talking about 774 local government areas in Nigeria. You talk about the councils, the wards, and things like that. In fact, when a politician is to be suspended or disciplined, it takes place at the ward level.
Let's deal with it.
Exactly. So that is your catch point. You miss it, you are lost. So, and again now, because there will be direct allocation of funds, because it's not been implemented to the local government level. If you understand the policies of Nigeria, it's all about money. And the big question is that, what are the people benefiting? Because as the name implies, grassroots, That is where I don't know why there should be any local government with bad roads or things like that. At least at that level, there are roads that are meant for local government to maintain. There are some for the state, some for the federation. And if you look at Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly what the direction of lawmaking should be, which is to make laws for the peace, orderliness, and good government in Nigeria. And Section 14 subsection 2 summarizes everything, that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. And where is the primary point of contact with this mandate? The grassroots level.
Grassroots.
So it's a very crucial tier of government.
All right, let me pick it from where Barrister Logun stopped there, and still talking about the roles and responsibilities of the council areas, because again we've established the point here that they are the strongest and they should be the closest to the people. So where is the missing link here, especially when it comes to the role of the council areas themselves? Because as it stands, it's beginning to look like the people are having trust issues with the government, and so no tier of government at the moment is actually living up to expectations, in the face of the people. So how important really should the local government be beyond the voting experience from today?
I like that question, because today we are all talking about elections. Everything revolves around voting, elections. When it's election time, all these issues come into play. I remember coming on here on this same studio, and we're talking about local governments when the Attorney General went to the Supreme Court to say, look, we want declaratory relief, we want the Supreme Court to declare this, declare that. And the declarations were made. And I pointed it out that this particular action is a surplusage, is a waste of time. That there is nothing new in what the new Attorney General is asking for. In fact, President Muhammadu Buhari, during his own time, the same issue came up. And it was supposedly resolved that, look, we are not going to pay local government money through the state governments. And so for a whole Attorney General of the Federation to go there to repeat the same application, you need to begin to ask yourself, look, what is it about local government administration that makes everybody, even at the federal level, at the presidency level, to keep going back and forth like Abiku in the court system, to keep going back and forth to obtain orders that will not be implemented? And I said it that very soon, despite the orders that have been pronounced by the Supreme Court, the governors will then find a way to put in place a political solution. And like a week, 2 weeks after, the governors sought audience with the president. And they started having their usual meetings, discussing all these things. That was what engendered this central bank proviso. Now they are beginning to amend the orders, the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So what is it about local government? To answer your question, is rule of law. You see, it's a very simple thing. Before we came on air, Barrister Ologun said something that there are so many laws that are just gathering dust because nobody is implementing them. Right. Now, there is nothing new under the sun in Nigeria, either in terms of economics, politics, or socials. There is nothing new. Everything we are talking about today, they were discussed during the era of the Awolowos, the Sadanas. But we keep on going round and round in circles. So, the rule of law, it takes a lot for Nigeria, people in power in Nigeria, to respect that doctrine of rule of law, which is everybody is equal before the law. Now, the people who take issues before the Supreme Court or the court system, they are not even the local government people. Have you ever heard of a local government chairman taking these issues up at any court level? Why? Because the people they put there, they are usually selected, not elected. So they have comatose. The people who occupy those offices, they have no voice. They can only be seen, not heard. And that's the problem we have. If you look at I remember during the Agbala Jobi and all Sarumi and co. I remember the local government chairmen. Some of them, they were so powerful. Lagos Mainland, there was a chairman in Lagos Mainland. He sued the state government, and you see, and that was the beginning of the end. Because in those days, the chairman would say, no, I'm not going to comply with what the governor says. This is my territory. Has that ever happened since then? So the governors, they became wiser, they got powerful, they started using the law to their own advantage.
Let me quickly hold your thoughts. We'll come back to you. Let's quickly let you know that the visuals you're seeing at the moment is what is happening in Ifakoijaye as we speak. Of course, you can see, I think that brisk business by, the kekes there, but majority of the shops are closed. You can actually see some residents going about, I don't know where they are going to anyway, assuming they are going to their polling unit. But trust Lagos residents to always just see how things can be done in their own rights. But you can see there, if Akoijaye is what we can see there. We did tell you at the beginning of the program that as soon as we have live footages from our reporters on the field, we will let you know. Very soon, as we get more updates, we would actually bring that to you. But currently what you have on the screen is what is going on in Ifakoijaye local government area. So you can see at the moment. Of course, we're back here.
What we can see, all
packed. All packed. Okay, let's go back to the discussion. Of course, Barrister Loyede was talking about, going forward, and then you were trying to explain the rule of the
rule of law. So essentially, the problem we have at the local government level is disrespect for rule of law. Because if the federal government took a matter up at the Supreme Court level, and the Supreme Court made a pronouncement, this was a matter that was taken up by Buhari.
Yes.
Now, before Buhari, let's go as far back as Obasanjo. If you remember, there were issues relating to local government administration between Obasanjo and President Tinubu.
Right.
In those days. I mean, there's a major locus classicus on that. A very major decision of the Supreme Court on this same matter about creation of additional local government. And it tapered into revenue payment. And Obasanjo withheld some monies. And you see, that was the beginning, because at that point in time, for years, Lagos State had to be funding the local government. And by the time the Supreme Court made its pronouncement and money was released, of course, it's like, we borrowed, they borrowed money from us. So we have to recover it. So there were contractual arrangements between the state and the local government to say you are going to repay. And that has become permanent. And other states have borrowed from that. Now, all these things are not totally in consonance with the constitutional provisions. But then it was based on doctrine of necessity, as we say in Nigeria. So what I'm saying in essence is, the problem we have is we have laws gathering dust. There's no implementation, or we have some laws that are just not implementable given the present political scenario.
Oh, okay, I'm a little bit bothered because it seems there's a fantastic handshake between the state and the local government. What's the big deal in getting to the position and saying, look, for the benefit of my people, I will do the right thing. I'll let this money work? Or is it a function of the political parties and the agreements they've signed? Or how does it work? Is it the people that influences that? Or some people will say, for instance, in Lagos State, that kind of handshake has brought about development, even though it's only 20 local governments that the federal government recognizes. But I know recently the state governor has also appealed that, look, in the new constitutional amendment, the 37 LCDAs should be recognized as well. But we've seen some kind of development in Lagos State, especially since there's a kind of collaboration between the state and local government. What's the right situation in this kind of scenario?
Thank you for the brilliant question. You see, I have multifaceted response approach. You start with the system we run. it may amaze you to realize that there are many stakeholders paid by the local government fund that are not even workers in the local government, but are political chieftains. So how do you eliminate that? You recall when Ayodele Fayose, as the governor of Ekiti State, came up with the doctrine of stomach infrastructure. That is on the side of managing the local government. The other one is what we are discussing here. What were the governors releasing to the local government authority to develop the local government environment is another question. You see, again, when you talk about the people themselves, what do they want? You know, I recall the day I went to pick my voter's card, and a young man was there to pick his voter's card, and he lifted it up and said, whoever will benefit from this must pay. And I was, but
was that in English or in Yoruba?
In Yoruba. I'm translating.
What's Yoruba?
The Yoruba will be sweeter.
That's what I'm going to. What's Yoruba?
So, and that is why I argued towards the 2019 election, general elections that come. Poverty has become a tool that politicians use. I witnessed some of the rallies towards this election, and I did some video coverage, throwing small packs of rice, throwing this, and people were catching and rejoicing.
But the argument is this has happened even way back in the 80s or
yes.
70s.
And some will be quick to blame politicians. I also saw a video in Ghana where and when some politicians tried it and they chased them away.
Exactly.
So you now begin to wonder, what do our people want? And there is what we call conditioning in industrial psychology. So if you are conditioned to this, then you are not thinking of sustainable development. We are here now saying, we may talk about apathy. What is apathy? Some have surrendered elections to the election practitioners on the side of electorate. There are those who vote. That's what they do.
It's their job.
And they get paid to vote. So whether you choose to come out or not, they will be there. In fact, they will do vigil towards this election. You know, we go around as researchers to ask questions. Somebody was even telling me that, what are you saying? That the election that they have done already. They will hear a lot of things. So are we on the side of the government and the people interested in sustainable development? If we are interested, we can make leadership accountable. I mean, let's step back a bit. When Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn into the office of the president, the same day he said subsidy was gone. And by virtue of Section 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 was amended, that vests the power of executive management of Nigeria in him. That stood. And what happened? More revenue came to the federal government. Where were these revenues channeled? To the state governors. Have we witnessed the reflection in the society? I challenged one of the, I won't mention the local government area, one of the politicians there, and I asked him, this local government secretariat, we just built the fence. Yes, I said, I know. But can you see the road beside it? Very bad. And he said they are planning to. That is the point. So it's as if sometimes the people don't even know what development looks like.
Right.
And because of the economic hardship, it's all about what I can get. And that's so for some, the election time is party time for them. They get, and for some of them, amazingly, they may not even get up to 20,000 naira. But then the others is brought to them in maybe alcohol and things like that, and promises that may not be fulfilled. Right. I'm just appealing to leadership in this country. Some of you by virtue of your office, have enough money to travel abroad, maybe to UAE, to Canada, to America, to the UK.
Let me hold your thoughts on that. What we have currently on air now is from Odiolowo Local Council Development Area, where electoral officers are getting their materials being distributed for them to move out to the polling units in that council area. So, of course, we have LASIEC officials there distributing materials to officers who are ready to set out on their assignments. Of course, this is coming from Odiolowo Ojuwoye Local Council Development Area. So I'm sure any moment from now, the officers will begin to arrive at their various polling units, and of course, electoral duties can commence going forward. So that's what we have at the moment coming from Odiolowo Ojuwoye Local Council Development Area. Of course, that is the council secretariat where the material, of course, are being distributed for onward transmission to the polling units. Also, I think if we're ready, we have visuals also coming from Iyala. Okay, I think this is from yes, Iyala Street, Alausa. And we talked about this. We talked about this.
This is part of the apathy.
It's part of it. We
so
talked
they cannot
about
be bothered.
it. So we cannot continue to behave like this.
These guys are older than 18.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So they should actually, but I'm sure if you ask them, the question would be, do they even have voter cards?
They don't.
Do they even register?
That underscores what Barrister Loyede highlighted. Apathy. They cannot be bothered. And non-implementation of our laws. When you talk of restricting movement, and now we are suggesting to the lawmakers, shouldn't this be part of the restriction?
Yes.
But remember that the National Assembly came up hurriedly recently with a bill to compel eligible citizens to vote. And we told them,
kicked against
even though they give about 20 countries like Egypt, like Australia, that come, go and ask Australia how they treat their citizens before you force us to vote here. So it's all encompassing. So you can see people will just be going, some now we wake up at 1 p.m., then at 4, ask how, and it's because they have not gotten value
for
participating in elections through good governance.
But it presupposes that when you don't get value for something and it bites you hard in the butt, all you need to do is have a pushback. That's the natural instinct, I believe. Let me just direct it to Barrister now. But you have a situation where you have so many avalanche soldiers online that have a good idea of how governance should be, but can't translate that to councillorship and local government elections. Why can't they marry the two? That's my own challenge. Because you know how bad it is for you to move from your house, or you can't access just primary health care. Why is it difficult for you to know that from what you've read? Because you're always online, chatting and abusing and doing all that, very particular about your rights. But you've not read how local governments provide primary health care and primary school, and of course, social intervention. Why can't you marry the two? Because if you are in pain, you should know where the pain points are.
Well, let me start with my journey coming here from home. Where I was listening to the radio, one of the radio stations, and the presenter, the main question was, if anybody wants to call him, you say, so when immediately they pick your call, what's the name of your local government chairman? How did he come into office? What time? And then you can say one or two other things. And I think the inducement is, okay, maybe they will get a prize at the end of the program. And somebody will call and say, hey, how did you get to the office? Instead of answering those questions. Say, how did you get to the office? And the lady will say, look, just answer the question. What's the name of your local government chairman? How did this person get into office? Like 90% of them didn't know. I mean, and that's not limited to people there. I mean, even we, the educated ones, many of us don't know. I, for one, I know Bajabi Amila in Surulere. He's the local government chairman. He's more like my governor and probably my president.
And he's the chief of staff.
He's just chief of staff. But because of the things he had done, and he's still doing in Surulere. I mean, Surulere is about the best in Lagos State because of what that man has done. I'm not campaigning for him, but
it's not even
that I'm just trying. I'm in anticipation. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because you see, the question is, I mean, when you know where the pain is,
yes,
why don't you just go there and apply the medication?
Yes.
The problem is, you see, the people have become so, like Bartoloko said, poverty has been so weaponized that the only language we understand is, look, immediate gratification. What am I getting now, today? Last night, when I told my wife, I'll be on LTV8, I have to get there very early and all that. Says, oh, you are going to discuss what? I said, local government elections. These local government elections, when will you stop? I mean, Right, so Loco was talking of many of us are online. We're online. We're even on air. Some of us have the opportunity to be on TV everywhere to discuss these things. And she said, "When are you going to contest the election?" People like you should go out there and show them how it's done, because you have so many wonderful ideas. You when you criticize, even me that I'm your wife, I say, this man is so smart. Why can't he go there? And I said, well, apart from the fact that you just want to be a first lady at whatever level, the truth of the matter is I cannot win any election in any part of Nigeria. Ganifa Wemi is a bigger he didn't win in Ondo town.
Not Ondo town. In this Ikeja, Gani was campaigning. They threw him. That is the flyer they will use.
I deliberately said Ondo town.
Because that's where he came from.
So I told my wife, I cannot win any election. I said, even my son
will not vote for you.
No, even my son, who is also now a lawyer, if they would allow him to stand on the podium against the man contesting for the chairmanship office in any local government area, he would defeat him hands down.
If things were done normally.
In terms of talking ideas, telling them this is how we're going, these are the policies and all that. But then, the people who are listening, or the people who will vote, they are not listening to him. All they want is, look, who is coming to settle us on election day. It is this bad. Somebody close to me who has a restaurant, we were talking 3-4 days ago, and she said, this local government election, it's not, look, there is no, APC will win everything. No. And I said, what do you say? Some people were brought to our restaurant to come and eat amala.
And she got paid for that.
And it was 2,000 per person.
Wow.
2,000 per person. And that somebody now paid, they said it's 2,000. You can't spend more than 2,000. And the penny said, okay, sell 2,000 worth of amala and they will do for me. I will add the 50 naira for the POS.
Oh, for the transaction.
And she said, so you are here because of just 2,000. And they said, cotton for 1 year. That's what they gave us. That means he sold his vote 4 days ago
for 2,000
for amala,
Begiri,
and they will do 2,000 naira. In fact, 1,950 naira. Because of the inducement. So you see that the pain is the pain they feel today, right at this moment. They are not thinking of the pain that will come back tomorrow.
The follow-up,
they just apply analgesic today.
The follow-up is very simple. We don't have this number alone in our society. We have people like you, Barrister Ologun, who are educated, who understand the import of having just anybody that do not understand how you feel there as chairman of your local government. Lagos is a cosmopolitan area. Lagos is, to a large extent, educated people. So why can't educated people, or they are just indifferent to what is happening in the environment?
I hope I'm not breaching copyright. I'll borrow by Zoroko's words. Ologun, sorry. We are not election practitioners. We're educated. We know what is right, what is wrong. We know the law. We know all these things. We know what can be done today, tomorrow, forever to make Nigeria great. But the point is, we are not election practitioners. We are not professional politicians. We can talk, we can do that. But we don't belong in the caucus. I mean, first of all, you have to get into the caucus.
So why do we blame government? Why do we blame government when we don't participate?
See, don't let us say we are blaming government.
No.
The first GSM phone that was ferried to Nigeria, if I recall, Sajem.
Yeah, I used it too.
Is because people questioned Sajem. And that's what you do in the business environment. Or let me even come to automobile. Can you remember the first version of BMW that arrived Nigeria? But can you compare it to what we have today? We are not blaming the government. In fact, the government may be in trouble. You know what I tell them?
Some people are silent.
Now you are in office, you are entitled, maybe if you are in Senate, about 8 mobile policemen. You leave this office one day. Right. It's only God that won't leave office. Yes. So you come back to the same society.
Yeah.
At the time, even former President Olusegun Obasanjo was to have an event in Ekiti, and I heard he was complaining about traffic. I said, yes, sir, there must be traffic because of the state of the road. So we are not blaming anybody. And like I was saying the other time, they travel. Look at when Donald Trump went to the UAE. Look at how they mesmerized the man with poverty. They even gave him an aircraft.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So look at what some countries have become. And we are, look, I mean, thank you for bringing that up. And that's why we wonder the people. And when you talk about the elite and everything, have you forgotten that even before you emerge as a candidate, you have to go through a mill?
Yeah.
The primaries.
Exactly.
Who can tell us that the recent primaries in Lagos State was free, fair, credible,
Faultless,
and transparent? In fact, there are still fractions and factions now.
But that is understandable.
Emanating from that.
But that's understandable. No one has come out to complain.
No,
there
were cases.
No, because
even the party had to set up reconciliation committee to find.
Okay, let me allow you.
Let me quickly come back to because again we've identified the fact that shared responsibilities and shared blame games that we would have here. The people are at fault, government also is at fault. But let's again quickly go back to the constitutional role itself of local governments and councillors. If we take a poll now of people living in different local government areas, we joked about it when we came that, for example, a place like not so far from here, that you're not even sure if your local government is in Ojodo or in Ikeja. And then we talk about the wards. Some people don't even know where they stay. Some don't even know who their wards are or the role of the councillors themselves, because they just say, you should be the chairman. And they say, what, do you even know who your councillor is? And you ask, who is a councillor? What's my business with a councillor? So how important is it really for people to know that you cascade these things from one level of governance to the other? So the constitution is clear as to who a councillor should be. But again, the people will ask, who is a councillor? What is the role of a councillor? Why am I jostling to even be a councillor? Mary Zologun, take us through. Who is a councillor? What do they even do? Why are they there?
The councillors are there for the lawmaking aspects of it, management of the laws. And the chairman and the vice chairman for the administrative and executive.
Because some people ask you, do they make laws at the local government level?
Yeah, they do. All those tariffs and things, lock-up shops and things like that. And again, because of the system we run,
which is federal system of government.
Not even that.
Okay.
In relating with the people, when I see people being forced to come and remove debris from their gutters, it's not my business to do that. It's the business of the local government. You have collected levies. And again, to support the functions of the local government, we have the CDAs, a subset of that should even promote accountability. But like I have said somewhere, life is structured in the hardware and software realms. The hardware may be your infrastructure and what you have in place. The software is the human being managing it. And so even the human beings managing these CDAs and words and everything, what do they want? Some will tell you, we have not done our remembrance of our daddy that died. You are talking of constructing road. Is road the this thing shocked some of us. I went to a community at the time and I just thought that I could use my influence to facilitate the restructuring of the road. And I went to a major media organization that, please come and partner with me. Let's draw the attention of the relevant government agency. The man warned me.
Not to come.
Barrister Logun, don't come near this. And I asked him why, as a researcher. He said the elders in that community, that their children stop tippers that come to bring sand out and in to collect money from them. And that if that road is good, it will become difficult for them to collect. You can see the mindset.
And
or sometimes you go into communities, we are doing social responsibility projects, we want to bring boreholes. And the ballet will say, go and bring 500,000.
Society that will serve your community.
It probably sells water.
Is this these are issues. And surprisingly, is this same crop of software that you consult in presenting candidates. Talefe. So when a grammar speaking barrister comes and he's telling them about Canada, about America,
I mean, these things are these things are just around us as a people. So does that mean that this thing around some stomach infrastructure, money politics, right there, even at the grassroots, are we ever going to get out of that situation?
Well, prayerfully, we must.
Okay.
We pray a lot in this country. Can we leave prayer out of it? Well, so we always start with prayers. So that is something that pacifies our souls. So yes, prayerfully, we must get out of that realm.
We must.
We must. Okay. We must. And I pray that it will be in our lifetime. But really, it looks very bleak. Because we keep on regurgitating. It's the same set of people. Now they won't bring their children, with the same kind of orientation. It is so bad that you hardly, and even amongst we, the elites, a lot of people, we have trivialized it to the level of, at times, some people just put everything on religion, on ethnicity, on this and that, such that you don't, money back politics is just it. You were saying that the people are not complaining and all that. Committee was set up and all that. You see, the general apathy that we see these days is not just about poverty and all that. It is that people have been cowed to the point where they feel that, look, the votes don't count. I won't mention this person, but the person said, look, when Barrister Ologun said, Botati Delano, and all that. Yes, I also had it yesterday that the results have been written and that it will just be announced today.
But facts in Lagos doesn't support that. I'm talking about facts.
I want to talk about facts. Now, in my own area and the areas I've visited, I've seen posters and banners everywhere. I honestly haven't seen posters and banners of candidates of other parties.
Fantastic.
I've seen APC all through and through. Councillors, everybody, APC.
And supposedly
in Ifakojaye, about 2 days ago, some other parties, I saw another party featuring. Maybe strategically to say, okay, you have all the money, we don't have it. But close to the election, let's roll out. And that is an issue.
Because they can't afford an extended campaign regime. So they will come out a few days. And at times, it's strategic. The person coming out is sponsoring himself. He is not being sponsored by any party. And when he comes out, the man who has been ordained, who will win, then notices that, this person is coming out. And then they can discuss. So, okay, once I come in, then you become this, or I give you contract and all that. And he say, hey, this morning, now, last night, okay, I've advised all my
let us work
collabo and all that. So you see, and they are all politicians. It may even be that the party that is that will win has brought this person out to give some semblance of competition. Yes, to the whole thing. So look, already what we have on ground is a situation where it is so the people that are meant to vote have been battered into a corner that look who else is coming out. Okay. So they are not motivated to come and vote.
I like to interrogate. Perhaps that's why I'm a journalist. Perhaps to look at the other side. No, having won it, I don't know how you got there. Perhaps your father helped you, or the political structure. And you know, in Lagos or other parts of the country, is a hierarchy thing. You wait for your turn.
Yeah.
Because you have served the party, and perhaps this is the time to reward you. I haven't told you the last time that, look, sorry, you can't contest. This person is ahead of you in contesting this election. Having gotten there, knowing that you'll still come back to the same society, what is the big deal in doing the right thing? Why is it difficult? Because I know some people, despite the fact that you've sorted out your party members, you've handed out, you still have enough substantial. And not Lagos, Nigeria is blessed to have enough, not only for the party structure, but for helping the people. So what is the big deal in just not doing the right thing when Providence has enabled you to get to the place? What's the big deal?
The question is for me. Okay. Yes. Well, there's really no big deal. It doesn't cost much to do the right thing. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, there are no consequences for doing the wrong thing. And whatever you do, no matter how bad it is, there are people around you who will justify it. There are also people who will not openly justify it, but they will rather keep quiet. Now, let me bring a live example. This happened to somebody very close to me. And what was the matter? He said they had this program. It involves the First Lady of the Federation and the delegate that was sent to Lagos to come on. Because there's this perception that Lagos is a country on its own. Lagos is too rich. So these people are of the northern extraction. They were meant to represent, they were led by a very important person, two lady, to come and commission a project. And when they got there, the woman that is the head of the delegation, sent his a person out to come and meet with the Lagos people who are on ground. And the first thing she did was to just bring out some good money and say, okay, Madam said, all of you here about 20, well, this is for you, just to say, thank you for welcoming us, and gave the money. And they said, oh, thank you, this and that. And when the man, the big woman came out, they greeted her, thank you, madam, this and that. And they went, oh, no. You see, this particular amount I gave is just to thank you for taking good care of us. And it's like, let me say, the person sent 1 million. Okay. And what was delivered was 200,000.
Oh, wow.
If the woman had not mentioned the figure, that's just to say thank you. You people have been so nice. Which is African, which is Nigerian. That's not gratification, really. And the 200, 1 million.
From where to how?
To where? and they were all grumbling, this and that. And then eventually they tried to confront this person. They said, madam, but they said it's 1 million. They said, is that? But I gave, and if not for the fact that person immediately showed it. They said, but I gave 1 million. So let's go and meet. And they said, madam has entered car. She's gone. God just put you in a position. You see, we keep on blaming senators.
That's what I'm going to.
And this is somebody that is just like an oddly security person. Chopped 800,000.
He said chopped.
That is not Nigeria. So you see, people, like I always say, people whose nuts have been cracked for them by benevolent spirits, when they get there, they forget their background. And that's the reason. Somebody who never thought he could become a local councillor. You suddenly find yourself in the position of a governor. You are not even qualified. You don't have certificate. You don't have anything. And God has now placed you above every other person. And then instead of you to look at yourself and say, this is God. This is not me. You see, so we have leaders who do not have benevolent spirits. And that's because a lot of them say, law. It's not every time that it is a law that is the problem. It is a personality issue.
Exactly.
The software is faulty.
Exactly.
Or it has been corrupted. And to clean it up, remember, we can't clean up the software in Nigeria. We have to totally replace them.
Okay, Barrister Logo, I just want you to wade in here before we switch to Atlanta, our correspondent, Jibola, and our presenter to join us. What is the big deal? You've heard that, like, he talked about when benevolence smiles on you. The onus is like, look, do the right thing. So what is, because oftentimes we've said, okay, the people have been conditioned, perhaps poverty has conditioned people to be subservient, to just take it and manage whatever comes their way. However, you have been saddled with that responsibility. He just mentioned a name now of the chief of staff and talked about, so the footprints are literally visible. And we can say that about so many people, despite all the challenges we have in this country. We have some local government in Lagos as we speak. Perhaps we will touch on them that are doing fantastic work. They are embarking on very ambitious...
I drove on a road linking Lagos and Ogun, and towards the tail end, the person with me told me, oh, it's Senator Yayi that did this. Look at Faleke also, some infrastructures around the Keja. It's a matter of choice. And don't let us also isolate the factor of the party structure. Before you even emerge as candidate, there must have been some compromising terms and conditions. And party funding is critical. And that is why it's difficult for governors to release this LGA autonomy. The funds. You know, that, okay, this is what... And so some of the times you find people in office who can hardly exercise independence. So you find them struggling. And it happened in Lagos State. We can talk about it now. Ambode did not get the second term. Because some stakeholders arose and said, there's a blueprint for Lagos, so don't be in a haste with all the bus stops and the Janjanchi projects. And no, you also need to be mindful that we are there. As you are infrastructuring Lagos, you should also
us as well.
Infrastructure us. And he didn't get a second term. That is Nigerian politics for you.
Right.
In the US, up to the county level, you find that spirit of patriotism to secure and provide welfare for citizens. Commitment. I was amazed. I was in Texas, then went to check a project with Kathy, was a Congress woman. And when we rounded up, I said, Mr. Jide, let's go and see the governor. I said, is that how you see governor in America?
Like
and I told her, if it's that easy, me, I'm going to Washington. When I come back, maybe we'll go and see the governor. In Nigeria, to even see your councillor.
Honorable.
You know what I mean?
Honorable.
So these are issues. But some of them who even decide to do the right thing, it may be a problem. And that's why I have been advising those we call opinion leaders in public relations. The kings, the emirs, the obis. And I still stand by my position. If the traditional rulers call the government in power, that come, this is what we want, I believe it can be done. But again, who hands over the staff of office to the king? So there are several issues in Nigeria that need total reforms. And but when we have come to the point where the LG autonomy is still suffering non-implementation, so what reform are we bringing that will be fully effected? So it has become difficult for citizens to hold leaders to accountability because, again, there are 3 levels of office. You talk about your physical address, you talk about the status, you talk about the functions. I think in Nigeria, it's all about status.
All about
and
status.
that is why you see someone tell you, what are you, you know, that is why a House of Reps member will threaten the citizens that if you disappear, nothing will happen. You see, so, so when you don't have that humility of leadership, how will you be considerate to others? And then, like it's been insinuated earlier, you can imagine earning, is it 21 million naira per month or
it's per month.
Per month. I mean, even if you are normal up there, that money may make you
become abnormal.
To make you
and we are not even talking about the committee allowances when you go for oversight functions to maybe NLNG or NNPC. You don't just go, you go like a king. You don't take things from palace. You take things to the palace. So when you look at all this, and again, you talk about electoral ambitions, political ambition that, hey, now I'm in the Senate. What's my next place of assignment? And that is why some of them are clamoring for more states to be created, even when some states are not viable. So they start building up instead of developing the society. And the main essence of having the government structure is to develop the society.
Develop the society. All right, of course, we have many footages coming in from our correspondents across Lagos, and as soon as we're able to showcase those footages, we will definitely bring you up to speed with some of these issues. But currently, we do hear that various electoral materials are getting to their polling units. Voting has commenced in certain places, and of course in certain places they're still awaiting the arrival of LASEC officials or ad hoc staff really to be there so that election can commence in those areas. As soon as we're able to bring you more footages, most definitely we will do that. We'll also open our phone lines to our correspondents who will also bring us up to speed with what is happening across many places in Lagos this morning. But again, we ask that you please also go out there and exercise your voting rights this morning. Of course, we are still here in the studio and we still have our guest here, looking at conversations around today's election. Let's go back to the conversation now. Basole, again, we do know that we've talked about how important local governments are, and again, the role that this election will play at ensuring that the right people are there. But some school of thought also think that local government chairman, especially, I know Barrister Ologun earlier mentioned party structure, also playing a pivotal role as to how these candidates oftentimes emerge as, the candidate. But the question here is, are these individuals truly empowered as local government chairmen? Or, like in some parlance, some will say they are just glorified appointees?
Well, Barrister Ologun said something that, there are usually, before you get to this level, that is even to become a chairman, there must have been a lot of compromises. The reason why we had friction at the primary election for APC in Lagos, for instance, is because there are a lot of people who felt, oh, they won, and things were changed, or some people were favored. And that was why they could even get to the point where then you talk about taking your turn. I mean, there are some people, there's a particular case that I am aware of where the person felt, look, I was told that I was too young to contest for, the House of Reps or House of Assembly. And they said I should wait. You go for chairman. And then later they say I should step. Now, this person, eventually, he still didn't make it. And then the reconciliation committee met and they discussed it. He had evidence to show that, look, the delegates voted for me at the primary and all that. But the party machinery decided, look, this is the person that will go for. Now, and that's the point. The person who has been favored by the party may not necessarily be the person that the people at the grassroots, the person they wanted. And so that person who has now been pushed forward by the party hierarchy is there at the whims and caprices of those who favored him, not at the behest of the people who are there. So really, there's no relationship. In fact, it will start off on the basis of animosity. the people didn't want him there in the first place.
Right.
They won't interact with him. They don't want to talk to him. And by the time he spends to it, so it's at the beck and call of those who put him there. It may be the governor, it may be the chairman of the party, and all that. And so that is the disconnect that we're experiencing, especially at this very, very important level of governance. I should not have any better. Most of the time we complain, a lot of people now, they will say, look, President Tinubu has released so much money to the governors. All these palliatives, money meant for palliatives, they've been given to the governors. And what are the governors doing? You should go and challenge your governor. Like Barrister Ologun said, how will I challenge my governor? Where will I start?
Why can't you?
Now, first of all, can I just walk up to the governor's office in Lagos and say, Governor, President Tinubu sent money to you. How are you spending it?
Nobody does even send that claim.
I'm a lawyer, yes. What we do is respecting protocol. We follow order, either in court or outside the court. We write letters every time. Do you know what it takes for you to write a letter to the Attorney General of Lagos State and to actually get a response? In fact, you celebrate to get a response to your letter. How much more? And you are writing to the Attorney General because you are a lawyer, believing that he is the chief law officer of the state and he can have access to the governor. Okay. And so then he sends it to the governor. If you are favored, he gets to the governor, and the governor can decide which one to reply to, because it may not even get to him.
Okay, let's hold your thoughts on this discussion at the moment. Of course, we would take a break, but at this moment, would like to say thank you to Barrister Jide Ologun for finding time to be with us on the program this morning. Of course, he needs to leave us now. You know, he's a man of he's a man of the people. So we need to excuse him at the moment. Of course, when we return, Barrister Loide will still be here with us in the studio, and another guest will also be joining us. And at that moment, we'll also be able to take live calls from our correspondent who are ready to connect with us live here in the studio. We'll be back after this short break.
One of the systems that is key and completes a healthy democratic process is free and fair elections. The 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act make elaborate provision for voter registration and participation. Every citizen above 18 must vote and can be voted for. Nigeria has unfortunately seen a consistent decline in voter turnout since its return to civilian rule in 1999. The 2023 general election, for instance, recorded a historical low turnout of about 27.1% of registered voters. This means only about 2 out of every 10 registered voters cast their ballots. This is not due to lack of registration, though Nigeria has seen an increase in registered voters over the years, but rather a disconnect between registration and actual voting. Why does Nigeria's election records voters' apathy?
One of it, lack of trust, lack of education, and also when you talk about voter apathy, you realize that most of this voter apathy is concentrated on the local government, because there's not awareness on that third tier of government. A lot of people don't even see them as a means of governance. With the militarization that we've been for a very long time, and made us feel that everything is in the center and the federal. I think that's why I said lack of education is one, then lack of development. Some of them are saying, look, even those that we voted for, how much development have we seen? So the other one is lack of integrity, trust in the electoral processes. They don't think that they can change anything that is ongoing already. They feel that the election has already been won, so there was no need for them to come out.
One of the factors responsible for low voters turnout during local government election is the fact that local government election is not a national election like the National Assembly, State House of Assembly, gubernatorial election and presidential election, whereby the elections are conducted on the same day, and there's a national awareness and publicity blitz created around that election conducted by independent National Electoral Commission, compared to the local government election, which are conducted by each state independent electoral election as determined by the enabling non-governed local government election in those respective states. So that's one of the factors. Another factor responsible for low voters turnout is the process that parties use in picking their candidate for the local government election. In most cases, candidates do not emerge through a truly democratic process. And so because of that, the actual people that vote during the election do not have an opportunity to participate in the party primaries. As a result of that, develop a party during the local government election, which in most cases are also won by the party that control the state. As a result of that, most citizens would think, why should I go out and vote on the day of the election?
Experts say lack of trust in the electoral process, poor economy, and introduction of new technologies are some factors. What is the way out to vote against apathy?
Number one, I think we need to improve our electoral system so that people can trust it and have integrity in the process. We need to give education, especially under the third tier of government, to let people be aware of the importance of that tier of government. And I think thirdly, again, we need to see development where people are elected. So we will see how much those that were elected were able to perform. And then if somebody is giving them manifesto, they will be able to hold him accountable. So I think those are the three ways, I think.
And also for us to have local government autonomy. You see, the local government is still at the mercy of the state government. Now we have seen an overreach by the present administration. That we have seen what we thought was not possible again. Federal government withholding the funds of local government and stopping them from doing. We thought we have gone past that stage with Supreme Court ruling. Autonomy for the local government, and that will solve some of the issues. It's your social responsibility, it's your civic responsibility to come out and for whoever you are.
Voting against apathy is a challenge requiring collective effort from the government, electoral bodies, civil society, political parties, and citizens. It's about rebuilding trust, demonstrating impact, and empowering people to believe that their vote truly matters in shaping the future of their nation. Bad officials are elected by good citizens who do not vote. Voting is a first duty of democracy. Your vote is your power.
Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation. I said I was going to.
It's not the conversation. Lagos Decide 2025.
It's still Lagos Decide 2025, and of course we're keeping tab on the local government election across Lagos today. We did say that this is the closest, of course, form of governance to the people. So there is the need for Lagos residents to participate fully in this election and go cast their votes in their respective various polling units. So what we have there is from one of the local government areas here in Lagos. As soon as we're able to identify, as soon as we're able to identify where this is coming from, we'll let you know. But from what we can see there, LASEC officials and ad hoc staff, yes, Lagos Island, are there taking, their materials to their various polling units. And this is almost 9.
I'm sure this video wasn't shot now.
It was shot at about 8:40. So, of course, some of them should have arrived at their polling units. And I think this is what we're talking about, lateness. This is actually late because election should have actually commenced at 8, like they said. And so logistic problems, we usually have this at every particular point in time. And so I think this is one of the things that LASEC also needs to up their game on as, we prepare towards some election going forward. But like we said, this came in from local government, Lagos Island local government, them moving to their polling units there. Of course, we have, of course, our correspondent currently at La Sierra. Once we're able to connect with him, it would give us an update as to what is happening there. And also, as soon as we're able to connect with various reporters across the state, we'll also have our telephone line here. If our reporters can hear us on the field, you are able to call into the studio at the moment, and also you can also connect with the studio via the Zoom link. All of this we intend to connect with so that Lagos residents who are watching us can have a feel of what is going on across local government areas. But we still have footages coming in, youths playing football across the state. We saw one earlier in Iyala here. You know, our correspondent who is covering Surulere is also saying somewhere in Akerele, you have a bunch of youths taken to the street to play football there. So, okay, as soon as we're able to connect with our correspondent, we will let you know. We also have another guest joining us. Of course, he'll be, you know, joining Barrister Loyede here on set. We're pleased to have join us today Femi Ibilola. Is also a public affairs analyst. Thank you, Femi, for being here on the program.
You're welcome.
This morning. I know that before we went on that break, Barrister Loyede was trying to land on a particular question. Joshua, you were the one who threw that question at him, and he was just trying to talk about, you know, the importance of grassroots and the structure you know, that political parties also play in. Oh, okay, I think it was my question where I did say that, are they just appointees, or truly they have constitutional roles that they should play, you know, at developing the grassroots in Lagos? That was where we were before we took that break. So let's take it from there.
Yes, of course. Constitutionally, the local government administration is recognized, is empowered, and they have roles to play. Until the constitution is amended, the roles are still there, the 774 local governments. What has happened is, you see, over the years, in this our democratic experience, there have been things that have been put in place on the basis of a doctrine of necessity, as I said earlier on, especially when the fight between the then President Olusegun Obasanjo and the now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when it was raging about creation of additional local governments. That is why today there is nothing the local government can do without the input of the state government. Like, I remember growing up, you know, we used to have Wole, all those people who used the sanitary inspectors. I mean, they used to visit. I mean, in those days, you see adults running to hide under the bed when these people were around. If your environment was not clean, we didn't have what we now call dry docks. I mean, cleaning the drainages. Drain docks, yes, drain docks, cleaning the drainages by the way of award of contracts. It was handled by local government officials. They ensure that you don't have tanwiji. I don't know what you call it in English now. You don't have it in your gutters. Tanwiji. Now, you don't have it in your drainages. They come to your backyards, they check your toilets, they check your septic tanks and all those things. All these roles that they played in those days, they are still constitutionally recognized. The tenement rates that we used to pay, or that our parents paid, they were exclusively monies meant for the local government administrations to take care of the local government areas, make sure that the roads are well maintained everywhere, the schools and all those things. But all these roads, the state governments in most of the federation, they have now enacted laws taking up this responsibility, taking it off them, even without a concurrent amendment of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But within the ambit of things that are within the concurrent list.
Residual?
Yes, the residual list, thank you. The states have now made legislation that have totally dismembered local government administration. People now pay, they now say, if you pay, for instance, land use charge, the government will look at that and use it to run their affairs. So they now dole out money that ordinarily should go directly to the local government. They first of all pass through the state government, and then the state government will now determine, even contracts that can be awarded. They have a ceiling above which they cannot go without the approval of the executive. Meanwhile, they are supposed to be totally independent. Not fiscally alone. Totally, they are supposed to be independent. The legislative arm of the local government, that's where you have the councillors.
Yeah.
Where you have supervisory councillors in charge of works, in charge of admin. Now, they are just there by name only. Now, these days, you don't even know who is your supervisory councillor for works. In those days, you have this demarcation of offices. Yes, they would interact, but it's not that the state government will totally take over the affairs of the local government, and that's where we have problems. So because the people, the local government chairmen, or those at that level of governance, they do not have executive powers.
Right.
And that's where the problem comes from.
Okay, I'd just like to say that we have our correspondent across the state trying to capture proceedings as far as this election is concerned in local government from Ikorodu, where LASEG sensitive materials have been distributed. Of course, moving on to Mushin local government, as well as Ikosi, Isheri, LCDA, activities on there. We have visuals, of course, very soon. As soon as you check your screen, you'll find those there as well. And of course, it's Rabia to Thompson. Voting has even commenced in some areas.
I did say that.
In some areas, voting materials are there. Of course, one of our correspondents, Jibola, is trying to reach us. Jibola, if you're watching, you can just call in now. We're ready for you. But of course, I'd just like to go to the nitty-gritty of this conversation, because on the menu is focus on various local governments and, of course, voting patterns. We have, as it is, 15 political parties are participating in this particular elections. I can't read out all the political parties. But, of course, we have literally a predominant party. But in the last election, where we have 377 awards election, we have two parties, PDP and YPP, taking 2 wards from Yaba area and, of course, Agege area. I don't know whether they still remain, because there's a pattern as well. Go back to where they're supposed to. So, did I get to say that? No, but the bottom line is we have parties vying for governorship, 57 local government, 20 local government and 37 LCDAs. So my question to you is, we have very interesting local government, and I feel that though we didn't see much of activities, we saw, perhaps we just speak to that, we had more of mega rallies this time. Is there a reason why we had more mega rallies as against door-to-door campaign? It's a local government elections as against having them congregate in a place. But I didn't get to see more of other parties, but APC I knew had campaigns, and I learned towards the end of the campaign exercise, ADC also had something on the island. I don't know much about that. So what are the chances of these political parties? That's my question.
Yeah, well, as it were, it is clearly shown that the turnouts will be low, because of, we have some issue, the selection process of the party. There are so many of the politicians in the locality that are grieved, as it were. So, and the take is now that the thing has already been concluded. So the enthusiasm is no longer there.
The enthusiasm on the part of the political on the part of the politicians or the electorate.
The electorate.
The electorate.
Yes.
Why should? Those are the okay. Go ahead. I was going to say that since it's actually for the politicians to emerge, will that deter the people from voting, even if it is still the party?
The issue is, like I said earlier, I'm a grassrooter. I was my zonal chairman, before I moved to the Ward Exco, before I now moved to the LGA Exco, and currently I'm the CDA chairman. So I know the feelings.
Okay.
Yeah? People are not really happy with the selection process.
Okay.
Within the party. You get what I'm trying to say? Because my area, for an example now, it's pretty an organized area where they agreed on the candidature. This is the person we want, and the generality of the politician accepts. But the person in question might not be even known to the community. So it's only the politicians now that are carrying these people along. That is why you have more of the mega rallies than door to door.
Okay.
Because nobody is ready to listen to them.
Doesn't this also help in a way when you have somebody that the people doesn't know? Isn't that a good opportunity for the people to come vote and say, especially if they have an alternative?
Sorry to cut you short there. Sorry, let's quickly hold your thought. Well, the production crew, we understand Omololuro Sonwe is ready to connect with the studio. From Lasiek. As soon as we have the footage, we will connect.
Can we pick this?
I think it's actually okay. Go ahead and pick that.
Hello, we can hear you. Hello.
Hello, Amololu. Good morning, Jibola. Is this Jibola?
Yeah, Jibola.
Okay. Good morning, Jibola. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good morning.
Right. So tell us, where are you at the moment? Okay.
And then voting has not really commenced.
Okay.
They got an area, and then people have started voting. The chairman of Sherry, local council development area, she also voted, as well as some other top functionaries of the LCD. But in Abuja, the situation is not the same. And
You mean alternative restriction is supposed to keep you, to get you to vote? Do you mean complying that are people turning out to vote, or they're just sitting at home or playing football?
for Sherry, people they are out in their numbers, but for Abuja, it's not the same.
Okay. So when you say it's not the same, could that also be due to the fact that the officials came late? Was that a problem?
That could also be a factor because I spoke to a couple of people off camera, and some of them were like, "What's the need for them? Is it vote?" And I'm like, "This is a local government election. This is the closest arm of government to you, and you need to participate and cast your ballot so that eventually, when the chairman is elected or the councillors, then you'll be able to question them as regards what they are bringing on board in terms of dividends of democracy."
Right. So I mean, voter apathy is what is still the order of the day. Well, it's still early in the day.
It's half and half. We have noticed one
in one area and the other. Okay, Ajibola, would please keep us abreast with the situation as you move, along in the council areas, and then you can also call us back in the studio with an update.
I also want you to appeal to all Lagosians to please come out.
We are doing that.
Yes, that's what we are doing.
Okay. All right. I mean, Ajibola is appealing, and we're also appealing that, this is the time for us all to go out, especially for those, who have their, what's it called, the PVC, and who can cast their ballot. Please ensure that you're part of it. Let's also take, I understand we have a report waiting from Aminat. Also, Adetola is standing by. Let's see
which of them
whoever is ready.
Let's have them.
Let's have it.
Yes, this is Ward A, polling 033 here in Obalende, Lagos. The electoral officer is ready with materials here ready. Security officers are also here, but residents are not here to cast their vote yet. But the materials are ready. We can see over there we have some youth playing football. The environment seems calm. Security officers are also around to ensure peace and sanity. But people are yet to come out to vote, but materials are here.
All right, that was from Aminat Elegushi from the Obalinde area of the state. That was, I don't even know, there was nobody.
Well, I didn't say anybody. There was no
nobody
queue.
there. So again, this is to, again, call out Lagos residents this morning. Please let us go out and vote. It is only when you vote that you can actually hold the officers or the officials accountable. But if you're not part of the process, how then do you hold them accountable for some of the things that they do or do not do? If Omololuro Sanwo is still standing by from Lasiek, we can't take you now if you're there, or if Adetola Kayode is standing by. Those are the people I know we're standing by. So if we have any of them, we can take them now. Okay, all right, I think we have another footage coming in. Once we're able to identify where this came in from, then we would be able to say, well,
But you know virtually every place. You should know this place now.
I didn't say a signpost. Okay, so it helps us when those videos are identified or tagged. So our reporters, please tag your videos when you send them in, so we know exactly where those videos are coming from. Remember, of course, we are taking live footage from our reporters as well on the field. And of course, like Ajibola said, let us appeal to to the electorate to please come out to vote this morning. All right, as soon as we have anything we're ready to beam live to you, we'll let you know. But we are back here in the studio and we still have our guests here. Of course, we have, okay, that's Adetola. Let's quickly take her. Where Mr. Governor is expected to cast his vote, and Adetola Kayode just brought us up to speed with what is going on there. Of course, other people will also use that polling unit, not just Mr. Governor, but as soon as the governor comes in, we will definitely let you know. I think we missed a call there. Yes. So as soon as we're able to get another call, we will take that. But again,
they will soon be going out on the monitoring exercise of the area. According to what they have told us, all that is needed. The non-sensitive materials have gone out before today. The sensitive materials have gone out early in the morning up to this moment. So every official of the last year gone out to their various polling units. And I can tell you, which of course is also been spreading in the news, that there are 325 polling units spread across Lagos State, across all the 5 divisions of Lagos State. And there are officials of LASIK have been sent out to ensure that they cover all these areas. There's also security presence in virtually every year. But I must also let you know that while we were coming on Ikorodu Road, we found that a couple of young guys were seen on this lane playing football, precisely at Fadi area, with them playing football. We wanted to ask why they were doing that, but they didn't respond to us. But at least we were able to see them playing football. It's just 2 places that we were at. Even in Yaba here, we only saw just a group of boys playing football around the Saria too. But by and large, it's been an exercise that materials have been sent out, but voting will commence, but we're not sure yet. But we're still going to go out with the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission team, with the commissioners, to ensure that we look at all the areas. That's the update that we have here from LASIK.
You hear the studio, Omololu? Omololu?
Don't go.
All right, we were hoping to connect with him there because he's just reported live from the LASIK office there at Yaba, and he also talked about, you know, the places they've monitored around the area. I think the issue of the youths playing football is universal. In Lagos, as we speak, many areas, of course, have come in with that report, and that's what we've heard this morning. I was going to ask him why electoral materials in some places were delayed, or, you know, they didn't set out on time. If he had an answer to that, perhaps when he calls us back, we'll be able to take him up on that. Sorry, I think we've missed calls from 2 of our reporters via the telephone this morning. I understand Omololu is back with us. Omololu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Bimbo.
Right. So I did ask, in some places that we've gotten reports this morning, electoral materials were late, you know, to their areas. So can you tell us, do you know why that is?
Yes, I can't get a clear picture of why that is happening, but from information that we heard, it had to do with logistics. Although when the chairman had a press briefing day before yesterday, he said everything is on ground, logistics have been taken care of, personnel are on ground, and over 50,000 personnel have been set out. But if those issues are happening now, I'm sure that has to do with logistics. But while we were coming, along the way, we started seeing officials of LASIK that started arriving, their polling units. That's around after 8 and a few minutes to 9. We saw them, and they've started arriving at the various polling units. That I can also confirm to you. But I want to go at maybe in a few moments from now, that should stabilize, and officials of LASIK will now be at the various polling units to give the other people their civic rights to vote. Bimbo.
Perhaps let me just hold for a second, because when we have this delay like this, oftentimes there's some kind of extension given to ensure that everyone is captured. Considering that we've got logistical challenge, what has the chairman said about perhaps giving more time for everyone on the line to actually vote?
Yes, thank you, Joshua. The chairman of LASIK has not spoken to anybody this morning, but I can tell you categorically that some officials of the State Independent Electoral Commission across Nigeria are just getting into the office to see her. I want to believe that they are going to be also on observation to see how they can learn 1 or 2 things from her. So they are actually in our office, but she has not addressed anybody in terms of logistics. But I just know that the officials, according to what they have told us, they have sent materials, both sensitive and non-sensitive materials, out there so that people can have their rights to vote. That I can also tell you for now. Then I also mentioned earlier that if you look behind me, you will see of personnel from different units that are also here. We can also find the fire service. They are also stationed here to ensure that nothing goes wrong. As I'm talking to you now, I'm trying to get into the premises to see if you can have a feel of what is happening here. You can see some people still coming out of here. Some security guys are also here. If you look at it, you can see some of them. They are here. Some are seated there. They are on standby to ensure that things go on right. If you look at the last set premises, that tells you that things are. Vehicles have gone out, but some are still waiting here to ensure that they move out with the other officials and the 5 commissioners from the 5 divisions that will be also going out. All is set here, but that's the best I can tell you for now. But as soon as we get more information from the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission chairman, I'll certainly reach out to you. Joshua.
For the updates, it's been, quite helpful this morning. Of course, that's what we intend to do this morning, bring you up to speed with what is happening on the field with our correspondents as much as we can. We do have, do we have anyone currently on the call at the moment? If we do not, so that we can continue here in the studio. But if we do have any, let's quickly connect. All right. Okay. So as soon as we have any of our correspondents, either via the video or the audio call, we will take them again this morning. But there are reports coming in that voting has commenced in certain places, also here in Lagos. As soon as we have more details, we'll definitely let you know. But again, as that is going on, we appeal that wherever you are, if you have your voter card, please go ahead too. So we have another call coming in. Hello? Good morning. Good morning. Okay, Bukola, thank you for calling in. Give us an update.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm monitored Surulere, that's Masha Stadium, and I went down to Itirekati. And very at 8 a.m., last day officials were on ground, ready for the voting exercise, but unfortunately, people did not come out to vote.
Wow.
The only people that came out to vote around that Surulere are the senior citizens. Wow. They are among the first to arrive at the polling unit. That's showing commitment to civic duty despite their age and mobility challenges. However, for the youth, I saw them playing football, and I spoke to some of them. They said they are not interested in voting. They believe that their votes will not count. So they rather do their early morning workouts and play football on the road and just do their normal Saturday routine. And to go, and according to them, it's a waste of time. And apart from that, so it was just a visible apathy among the youths in Surulere down to Tirekati. And I saw police officers on ground ensuring that everything goes on smoothly, but people are not just coming out to vote. So the last set officers are just sitting down, doing nothing for now. That's around Surulere down to Tirekati.
So my own question is, can we just say that perhaps take a poll, maybe because Surulere they are better off, their economy is better, and that they don't have primary challenge of good primary education, healthcare, and they are comfortable. So what's the need for them?
Okay, so I believe that Surulere has a high youth population. They are mostly youth. The people I saw there today are mostly youth. And I think they are, to a fair extent, they are well-to-do. So, according to them, they are not interested. If I saw a woman, she was jogging. I said, you not vote? She said, vote. What's my own? I'm not voting. And she just walked away.
Wow.
So, they are not really interested in this political process, this voting process.
Okay. All right, Bukola, thank you for calling in. Hopefully, you would have more update for us as the day progresses. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Let me come to you, Barrister Lady, because that is your constituency.
Yeah. You people don't vote in Surulere, do you?
Surulere people are proud people. I mean, and from what Bukola said, I mean, blatantly, the people just told her, we don't want to be part of the process. And this will take me back to the first question I asked you, which was it that, you know, the level of awareness, was it not enough? Or the people just particularly feel, and not necessarily because of candidates now, but generally do not just want to believe in the process at the grassroots level?
Okay, so you will permit me to start from 1993, June 12th election, because this is a very, I mean, it's very sobering, particularly more so because you are taking it from the local government area where I live, where I come from, and of which I'm very proud. I always talk about Surulere.
I know.
So it's been thrown in my face. We just celebrated June 12, 1993, and the option A4 voting system. Nobody alive who participated in that election would be happy to see what is happening today, because on that day, everybody turned.
Okay, Barrister Lady, let's quickly hold your thoughts. Let's take hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Amina Telegushi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm right here in Ikoyi at Ogi.
Okay, go ahead. What's happening there?
Okay, so we have 3 polling units here. Surprisingly, the people of Ikoyi are not yet to joke. Those voting exercise is yet to commence, but we have over 100 people ready to commence the exercise.
Okay.
Security agencies are also here on standby, and then the electoral officers are also here. But preparations and setting is what is delaying, but people are already here. Over 100 people are here at this 3 polling units and 1 junction here in Ikoyi.
I mean, fantastic. I mean, Ikoyi is eyebrow. Ikoyi is an eyebrow area, and I mean, it's gratifying to hear that at least there are people on ground in 3 polling units in Ikoyi to actually cast their vote. But I mean, as before we allow you go, so the delay by the electoral officers, I hope that won't be a turnoff for those people who are eagerly waiting to cast their votes.
I don't think so, because people are here ready. You can see car parks. The youth are here. But I think the logistics of getting chairs and tables and setting the canopies because of the weather is what is keeping them waiting. But materials are here at the 3 polling units. They're about in the junction just across each other, 2 on the right and 1 on the left. But altogether, we have people here ready to vote. And it is so surprising that Ikoyi is so ready for this local government.
Okay, so I like to know, considering the reports we've gotten so far, have you tried to speak with anyone there as to the reasons why they are ready to vote? What is the influence, or what has captured their attention to vote, and they are deviating from the norm? Because Ikoyi is literally highbrow area, and what are the reasons adduced for their participation?
Surprisingly to me too, I was really amazed when I saw this, but I'm yet to speak to anyone as regards to that. I only spoke with the electoral officers who said they are ready. They are just waiting to put things in order to ensure everything is settled before people commence the exercise.
Okay.
I would move to people to talk to them and see why they are just eager to vote.
All right. Okay. I guess that's an assignment for you. you need to ask.
Sorry that the officers are ready and things are set for people to commence the exercise.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Aminat Elegushi, with that report there from Ikoyi. Of course, we do hope that we would get more updates from our correspondents across the area. Let's quickly, before we come back into the studio, I understand we have some videos ready for us from some of our field reporters here. Okay, that is from Ikorodu local government area. As at the time this video was sent in, electoral officers officers were setting out with the materials to various polling units. You can see them there, their jackets, their tables, and of course their tags identifying them as ad hoc staff of LASIEC on this election. Of course, that is from Ikorodu local government area of the state. This is still Ikorodu. Of course, these are officers
I want to believe this is not the standard.
setting out, you know. But then I think these videos were sent not too long ago. Again, logistics seem to be a problem in certain places, you know, from across the state. So we still have that coming in from Ikorodu. I'm trying to ascertain at what time that was sent in. Yeah, Bukola called in from from Ikorodu, so she's giving us an update as to what happened there earlier on. Okay, Akerele, well, corroborating the football issue is what we have there. And of course, this is Mr. Oloyede's axis, because we have young people playing football there.
I guess because of Barrister Oloyede, we need to go back to the national.
Sorry, Joshua, that's Ekpe. Empty, I guess they're waiting for LASIEC or officials. But then we have a few people also there.
I think Dr. Larry Akinola is
waiting via Zoom. Yes. But then let's just quickly wrap up with you know, the visual actually setting up. I think these things also need to be talked about. Ikeja local government here, shouldn't these things have been done ahead or earlier?
I think the LASIEC chairman needs to be asked a question. Yes. I don't know. We've been preparing for this. We've done this over and over again.
Yeah, so certain people should have actually been here earlier.
That must have been happened as far as the election is concerned.
Because I mean, we shouldn't be doing this in the morning.
People waiting for elections.
Okay. All right, let's quickly connect with, of course, our guest who's joining us via Zoom. Dr. Lanre Akinola is joining us via Zoom this morning. Of course, he's the university don. And let's quickly, from the US, let's Doctor, thank you. I guess it's midnight where you are at the moment. What time is it?
I'm in UK.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, and it's the same time zone, so that's fine. So it's in order to say good morning to you.
I'm just here on vacation. I lecture in Langston.
We know you're an homeboy. All right. Yes. So, Doctor, quickly take us through. One thing that has been visible since this election started this morning is voter apathy, low turnout. And over time, this is becoming endemic, whether we like it or not. What do we need to do, not only as a people, not only as a government, but what do we need to do to ensure that we address this issue of low voter turnout or voter apathy, like we've addressed it many times? What do we need to do as fast as possible?
Well, I would say I saw this coming. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of report I want to get, but like I said, I saw it coming. Even for national elections, state elections, but INEC 2023 voter register, there are about 7-point-something million voters in Lagos State. The last governorship election recorded just about 1.3 or 1.4 million voters. That's far below even a quarter of the rest registered voters. So if you have that for the state election, I imagine what you get for this local government election. And we discussed it a few days ago when I was live in your studio. The issue of trust in the individual, trust in the system, trust in the institution. Here, at this point, we should not be talking about INEC officials and materials getting to the polling units late. What we should be talking about is that those materials are there and probably people are not there. I mean, so that even if we look at one aspect of the problem, we will have solved one aspect of the problem, then we can face the other aspect of the problem, which is probably the turnout. Now, if you get a few people who are committed who are actually out to go and cast their vote, and then they get to the center and see that the people who are supposed to officiate are not there. That is in itself a disincentive.
Right.
And it speaks a lot to the distrust in the system. At this time, we're talking about organizing election only in Lagos State.
Right. It's okay.
Only in Lagos State. I mean, all these logistics should have been perfected. There should not be any itch about it. If Coca-Cola and Nigerian breweries can distribute its product to the nook and cranny of this entire nation,
Right.
I don't see any reason why we are talking about materials for election not reaching certain areas. I mean, it's not a good enough thing.
At
now,
all.
Looking at the apathy towards election, I mean, as a scholar, I'm still doing study on it because it bothers me. My research reveals that Nigeria has the lowest voters turnout in West Africa. And we cannot repeat it enough. When you have voter apathy, I mean, it speaks negative about the democracy. You have a chairman now in a local government, probably the entire vote that makes him a chairman of a local government is 1,000, 2,000. And he will be the chairman over, let's say, several thousand people. What is the trust that you expect the system, the people, to have over such chairman when they have no stake in, they have no voice, the legal voice in his appointment? And so it's a big problem. And like I said, every stakeholder must see this as a problem that must be addressed.
Okay.
Particularly, I make reference to my own constituency, the media. Because again, part of the thing that I foresee is that the media narrative also has a disincentive on encouraging people to turn out. When we stress so much on the negatives, right? We have painted politicians as all of them are just there for their personal interest. We don't identify those who are doing well. We don't identify those good government policies and hype them. People just look for the negative, the few negatives, and then hype on it. And so when you talk to people to go and vote, they will tell you they know the people, whether you vote or not. I hope you're hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, that whether you vote or not, they know who is going to win. And I say this is a wrong narrative. It's a wrong narrative. It's a local government election. Forget. And that's why you find young people on the streets. So why, in the real sense, has government declared a sit-at-home, something like a public holiday, for people not to go to work, and just for them to go and exercise their civic responsibility? But then they are not. Recently, somebody muted an idea of making voting in election compulsory. And then Nigerians started crying. They started crying. How this. I just laughed. Exactly what do we expect?
Okay.
We cry that things are all right.
Let's hold your thoughts, Dr. Akinola. We have Solomon standing by, with a video. Solomon, are you there? Hello, Solomon, are you with us? All right. Solomon, are you there? Okay, perhaps we can then continue with Dr. Akinola if Solomon isn't ready. Can we go ahead?
Perhaps, Doctor, can you just add this to your thought process there? And that is, I'm bothered. You said the media narrative that paints everything that this process is all rigged out even before we start. And as well as our own ability to always be negative when we say, please, let us make voting compulsory. And we say, no, we always criticize. And that takes me to the social media space where we have everybody having an idea about what is wrong and what is right. And the participation there is massive. Why can't we translate that energy to voting when we know that this is not good, we didn't trust this person, we didn't vote for this person. And we've seen, fact has shown in this country that if you vote massively, there isn't any kind of rigging that will happen that will displace the fact that you voted massively for a particular candidate. The presidential election of 2023 speaks to that. So why are people not taking advantage, or why hasn't it sink into the consciousness of the people that, look, perhaps this is just a figment of their imagination?
Yeah, thank you. I will answer you by citing some practical examples. I watched a vice presidential candidate in the last election. At this point, even after the Supreme Court had adjudicated that his party lost, he's still arguing that his party won and that the president that we have today did not win an election. See, under morality, right? Morality, that person should actually be sanctioned. Because there is one thing that we are so bothered about: polarization. This country, like some other countries, are seriously polarized. And the reason for the polarization is the narrative of people like this, people who are not spotlight in their thinking and their attitude. Okay? Now, again, the media must also caution people when they go out of line. But I agree with you, my brothers and my sisters. Now, we have liberalized the media. So when you go to many of these media organizations, you find young people who know nothing about this entire process. They only come on here, okay, to come and stoke, right? They stoke a conversation that is negative against government, and negativity sells. Negativity sells. But again, what we are not understanding is that we are destroying a nation and we are destroying ourselves.
Okay. All right. Of course, we still have our guests in the studio. Perhaps we have any of our reporters standing by before we go back to the conversation in the studio this morning. Other than that, let's come back to Femi here. Again, let's go back to the grassroots. And I'm glad that you mentioned that you are a grassroots person. Now, irrespective of the political party that, any candidates belonged to, let's talk about the impact of the council areas to governance generally. So as a local government chairman, now let's leave party affiliation. What should your role be really in terms of how impactful your service should be to the people?
Okay, yeah, fine. The local government setting, is the closest to the people.
Right.
And they even cascaded it further to have CDAs. So CDAs, they are the people because they stay within the community. And as a local government, your function is to see that everything within that your locality is well.
Aye.
But at the issue, most of these are local government chairmen, they just stay in the office. After this election now, the next time you see them again is maybe if they want to come for a re-election.
But is that not an indictment on whoever it is that eventually wins and become the local government chairman? If indeed they should be the closest to the people, shouldn't the local government chairman and the councillors work together to know where the people actually need governance the most?
Yeah, you're right. That's how it's supposed to be. But the case is not what most of them try to put up. Majority of these people, they're only interested in the office, not the development within their communities.
Okay.
There are some times that will cascade an issue from the community to the local government, thinking that we have an action plan. So to our surprise, mostly, no action takes place.
Well, what are some of these issues? I'd like to know.
There are so many issues within the community. We have security issues. We have street trading. We have block drainages. We have issue of street lights. These are some basic things that I believe the local government should be taken care of.
Okay.
But what do we have? What do we have? So the people really, they are not feeling the impact of the local government. That is the reason why they're saying, do I really need to vote?
All right, let's hold your thought. I think some piece of good news. At least we have people here. This is from Ikorodu local government area, I think. So we still have LASEC officials. Yes, this is the town hall in Ikorodu. Voting, I think, has commenced in this polling unit, Ward 021 in Ikorodu. Are we able to listen to what they're saying, or should we continue to, or go ahead and just, okay, let's go on. So that's what we have there at that polling unit there. So voting has commenced here, and at least we see a number of people waiting here to cast their ballot, and at least it looks also like it's a mixed reaction here. So I understand Stella Josu is waiting to have a conversation with us here in the studio. Are we able to take on Stella Josu? At the moment, Stella is around the Mikeja axis as we speak. Is Stella ready for us? But as we wait for Stella's call, that's what's going on at Ikorodu Town Hall. All right, if we're able to take on Stella now, can we go ahead and listen to Stella? Otherwise, we go on with the conversation in the studio. I also understand Solomon could also hear me earlier. So if we have Stella and Solomon ready to give us their update, we are ready in the studio to also take both of them this morning. Are we ready to go on with them? I guess not. Okay, so as soon as we're able to establish contact with both our correspondents who are on the field, we would let you know. I'm just going to come back to you here, very story lady. Again, staying with what I asked him earlier and talking about, you know, what the I know you've talked extensively about grassroots development here, but again, let's talk about the people. Because if you are elected into office, irrespective of the number of votes that actually brought you into office, and you're not delivering on your mandate, you're not doing what you should be doing as either a local government chairman or a councillor, how much role, how much influence do the people have to start holding these elected officials accountable for their actions, either in the positive or in the negative?
As we've been saying all along, how did these people running for offices today, how did they get to the point where they're on the ballot?
Okay.
There can be no serious influence of the electorate on those who are going to occupy these offices if at the primary level they did not need them to get there. They were selected.
Okay.
So
I'm just going to come in here. I know we've talked about that many times, but my question now is, okay, either by whatever way they got in there,
yes.
Let's assume they didn't even get there with the help of the people. Now they are there.
Good.
Do we continue to keep quiet? Do we continue to be docile about their performances with the attitudes that we are exhibiting today and saying, well, we didn't vote for you, you might as well just continue?
You see, it's not a one-way thing. It's a two-way thing. Now, first of all, somebody gets into office. He did not...
Okay. Hello? Stella?
Hello?
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Stella, if you can hear us, where are you? You are live in the studio.
Good morning. I'm currently at Aaron Mystery. I'm in Ikeja.
Okay, go ahead, Stella.
What's the situation there?
Hello, Jackson, can you hear me?
We can
Loud
hear
and
you
clear.
clearly. What's the situation there? Just go on where you are live in the studio.
All right. I've monitored some polling units this morning, and it was observed that some of the officials arrived very, very late. And as at 9:30 to 9:40, the ballot papers are here at the various polling units. Also, elected officials eventually arrived, but they only arrived with Also, monitoring some area in Ikeja, it was observed that some market, some food vendors continued with their businesses.
People need to eat.
Displaying their wares, cooking, selling food to the residents. There is also voter apathy in some areas like Alausa. People are not turning up. They've not come out to participate in the electoral process. But in any case, there is an quite number of people who are interested. They are here waiting to cast their vote. However, the ballot paper hasn't come. So INEC officials are waiting for them to receive the ballot papers, but people are ready to cast their vote.
So have you
other areas where people are not turning out.
So have you spoken to the people there? What are the expectations? Stella, have you spoken to people there? What are the expectations? How do they feel about this whole process that is playing out?
Yeah, I spoke with some residents, some eligible voters. They said they quite understand the situation, but they promise to still participate despite the late arrival of the materials.
Okay.
All right, Stella, thank you for calling in this morning. I know that we started a conversation with you, but based on what Stella said, let's quickly flip back to Dr. Akinola, because Dr. Akinola is a scholar, and I know that he's a researcher. Dr. Akinola, you also mentioned this earlier as to the fact that, not at such a time should LASIEC still be facing issues around lateness of materials to the polling units. But judging from what Stella said, a particular polling unit has material, no voting,
as the boxes,
no
ballot.
It's worrisome. Is this part of the trust issues that you expressed earlier?
Let me give you my eyewitness report because I asked some of my friends to help me monitor elections in their various locations, and someone is giving me a report now that somewhere around Abule off Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, Ikeja, there's nothing coming up in their area, right? No vote, no sign of anybody coming to take their elections. And so, like I said,
can you say that again? So that we can.
Abule off Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, Ikeja. Right. Somebody just gave me a report, and the person, I will be so happy to see such a person vote, is an elite like me, and those are the kind of people we want to go out and vote. But let me speak to some of the issues that has been raised. Now, let me correct this impression that people select the chairman, and so that is for crying out loud. In doing my research, I registered as a member of a political party in a particular ward.
Okay.
And I attended political party meetings. Lo and behold, I can give you an idea of the demography of the people who register and participate in party meetings, right, where decisions about parties are taken. The people you find who attend those are not people like you and I. As a matter of fact, when I went to join, I was strange in their midst. And they were asking me, oh, am I interested in any position? Right? And so the people you find there are the common, the masses of this country, retired people. Okay, those are the people you find who are real party members. The elites don't take part in this party thing at the grassroots. And so let me also say this again, that election is a transaction. Election is a transaction. I come to you to tell you, oh, I want you to vote for me to get to this office. Now, for you to go and vote for me, what do you expect from me? I offer you promise.
Right.
Promise in exchange for vote. And so if the people don't vote for a chairman, when the chairman gets to office, his allegiance is not to you. His allegiance is not to you. The people who facilitated his emergence and ensured his election, those are the people who his allegiance is to.
Okay.
If we take election as a transaction, election, I mean, let's take it off. Election is not what I call what do I call it? Somebody is committing his money to a
It's
process.
a transaction.
He wants to serve.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a transaction, right? And so we cannot sit down, right? You don't have any part in someone emerging as a chairman, but yet he's emerged as a chairman, and then you want him to listen to you.
Okay.
He would rather listen to the people who went out and campaigned for him, the people who stood and waited while INEC or LISEC, right, delayed and voted for him. Those are the people who can look at him in the face and tell him, maybe he will come back again. But we cannot. If we say like that, they will just ignore us. I have personal experiences when you talk to a chairman of a local government, he will just look at you and smile because he knows that on the election day you are not coming to vote. And the only thing the politician understand is the vote. Who can guarantee me the vote?
Right.
And so we need to understand this and stop blaming the chairman. If people don't vote for them, right, they will do the thing that they promised the people who voted for them. And we should not feel any bad about it. If we want, let us go and take over that power. Let us organize ourselves, right?
And form our own
Look for a
political
party.
parties.
No,
Okay.
there are parties that are existing. Look for a party, run, or even engage the chairman and say, okay, we are going to vote for you, but this is what we want. And if he fails to do that, then you can take him up.
All right.
But if you have not invested anything, don't ask for anything.
Okay, I'm sure that very soon we need to wrap up, this segment, and one of our guests, of course, also might need to take his leave. But before we do that, at the moment, two reporters also standing by. Are we able to take them now quickly? Or more footages? Do we have more footages? Okay, so we do not have any reporter. I know somebody was trying to also place a call into the studio. Please try us again, and we'll be able to take your call at the moment. Barrister Oloyede,
Yes.
We've talked about voter apathy. We cannot continue to emphasize how important it is for people to go out. Only yesterday, Mr. Governor also appealed to Lagos residents to be part of the process by coming out today to be part of the process. But from what we've seen so far, comme ça, in some places, I mean, we've heard good reports. In other places, it's been LASEC officials waiting. The people aren't there. Others are playing ball. Others are saying, we don't even want to be part of the process. Yeah. Again, in your opinion, if you're not part of the process, can you demand a change?
Well, I think I'll just take the snippets,
okay,
so that before I leave. Now, first of all, I want to take up an issue Dr. Akinla raised about complaining about selection and all that, which ties into the question you have asked. I said it's a two-way thing. If somebody knows that it was actually his getting on the ballot was facilitated by the party hierarchy, right, not by the voters, he will be more loyal to the party hierarchy, not to the voters. Now, so he doesn't have to go back to the voters until election time. All he has to do is to satisfy those who put him there. When it's election time, he makes an appearance as if, oh, yes, I need your votes. He knows where his bread will be buttered. So he waits for that time, and that is that. Now, talking about voter apathy, you see, the people, you know, I was talking about my Surulere local government area, where people were playing football and all that. I want to use my right of reply. You see, you know, yes, because it's something that is very painful. That yes, government would have spent so much money to organize an election, and people are not keen into the opportunity. You see, the day we lose, I said June 12, from 1993 till now, the number of people coming out to vote has gradually reduced. It's not going up, and the moment election goes out of fashion, there's going to be a problem, because people will begin to look at other means of taking power. Okay. We cannot afford to go back to that point in our lives. So when I say that it is very sad that today, logistic problem, how can it be that last year that has been organizing this same election for like decades now, we are still talking about people getting to the voting units with a ballot box without ballot papers. With all the monies that have been spent. Now, how do you want people to trust the system? How do you want people to trust the institutions of governance?
Okay.
Now, and then we talked about Ikoyi, for instance. When you said, oh, the reporter said about 100 persons are on the queue already, and we're just waiting to start. And I mean, relative to other areas like my Surulere, it's like, oh, thank God, this is better. This is very good news. It's not good news. 100 persons. You have to look at it relative to the number of voters registered for that unit. Is it not up to 1,000? If 10% is coming out from Ikoyi, and then in Surulere 1% is not coming out, and then in all those highly populated, densely populated areas, you are even having less than 1%. People are voting with their feet instead of their thumbs. And we are saying, oh, let's rejoice over it. See, Nigerians have been conditioned to celebrate mediocrity. Things that are not the norm is what we celebrate today. Say, well, it's even better than yesterday. Oh, it's even better than in other states. Lagos State is a test run. If in Lagos State, we cannot have local government election with good turnout, how are we going? Because it's a test run for 2027.
Right.
If it is this bad in Lagos, you can look at other states. What we have, you have a state in a state in Nigeria. You have 400,000 people coming out voting for the winning candidate in a whole state, not in the local government, and we are celebrating, and we are taking that up to Supreme Court. So those are the issues I feel we should address. It is not. This does not call for any kind of jubilation. We should be very, very sad.
Okay. All right. We understand that the last SEC chairman, Justice Bola Okihiolu-Ihile, is attending to state chairman on observations and monitoring of polls as they also prepare for monitoring. I guess when they also hit the street and see some of the issues, LASIK might be able to do something as fast as possible to rectify the situation. But I know, Joshua, you've sent a message asking Omololuro Sonwo to make inquiries on just Dr. Akinola's observation on Abule Onigbagbo, what is happening there. I also have a message here from a viewer who is saying that at the moment in Akonwojo, there is no presiding and returning officer yet.
That is my area.
You also have a right of reply. No, meaning that at the moment...
It also means this disenfranchisement, basically.
So they could actually be arriving late, or something, might be happening. So we'll continue to cascade these issues, make a compilation of some of these places, and let our correspondent, who is, of course, closely monitoring the situation with INEC, know what is happening there. At this point in time, we'd like to thank you so much, Barrister Dario Oloyede, for giving us your time on the program this morning. Dr. Akinola, we will come back to you in a moment. We need to take a break. And when we return, of course, the languages will take it from us just for a bit. And they'll also be able to engage Dr. Akinola in our local dialect. So Kefas Daniel will be here, of course, speaking the Ogu language, while Adekomi will be here speaking the Yoruba language, and Ifoma Chimon Ezendigbo will be code mixing in Pidgin and Igbo language. Of course, we'll take a quick break and yield the floor to the language guys to take it from here.
Perhaps they will listen to them now. Now that
because
speaking,
they will speak the language. And
yes.
Then we'll be back much later on to continue, of course, on Lagos Decides 2025.